Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It is March 12th, 2026. I'm back with another break time message. I have been holding these since the 10th, so some of these messaging, especially in the beginning, maybe a couple of days old. Please take it as it resonates. So we've got some men here talking about a woman who is 35 years old and who is dignified. They want to replace the planetary stabilizer, the universal gatekeeper, the one chosen by God as a rainbow covenant holder and representative of the human species or the universe or whatever. God chose this particular woman. There's a collective of religious men here who do not want this woman showing up in the 3D. They think they've identified her and they want to remove her and replace her with a copycat. They've been talking about her job, her work, the computer programs, and the industry. So they really want the fluids of this earth angel. They feel that it can give them eternal life. One masculine is telling them that she's damn important. And another one says she's passive aggressive, which is actually very comical coming from a masculine who has permitted the use of love and marriage as a weapon of war to destroy the hearts of women, children, and men. These men are openly aggressive with their slave system and their sex trafficking. They're calling a woman passive aggressive. They're complaining that she's not treating them with proper respect and she's not offering them the diplomacy that they require in their system of things. They are planning on kidnapping her, replacing her, and to torture, drain, and drink the bodies, the fluids, eat the flesh, drink the fluid. They feel that they can become just like this earth angel if they do. These are devils, demons, portraying themselves as religious men. These ones do not deserve the diplomacy of the mother after what they have been doing to her, her sisters, and the children coming from the wombs, and especially the gender switching of the masculines, the protectors of the women and children. This is stupid, absolutely ridiculous. So it could be they who are being called passive aggressive for speaking trash from the shadows, speaking threats, hoping to cause someone to become paranoid, perhaps, trying to get under their skin, into their mind, and to drive their consciousness. This is going to sound weird, but she has the energy. That was a younger masculine talking with these religious men, or a coven of sorcerers, whatever you want to call them. It's really strange listening to these men discuss what it is that they should do with a woman's life and God-gifted authority. They want to end it. They want to take it. They want to destroy her opportunity to be here in purpose. Someone is saying something about homosexual, which is sexually or romantically attracted to people of one's own sex. They are saying she's an American, she's dignified, and she's psychic. One person asked another, "Are you serious? Because you don't want to be a liberal," which is really kind of silly. A liberal, in the political views of things, prioritize individual liberty, social equality, and a proactive government that regulates the economy and protects civil rights. Right? What you would expect out of a governing system. Modern liberals generally favor progressive social policies, environmental protection, and a robust social safety net. They embrace change and evolution, growing through experiences and whatnot. So while it states to be liberal is to want government action to promote equality, social justice, and economic relations, and conservatives promote personal responsibilities, limited government, and free market. While conservatives appear to want freedoms, it is clear the system is rampant with mafia-style white-collar criminal activity, scams, and profit systems to operate nearly unhindered. There's no checks and balances. Nobody's checking and balancing anything. The criminals commit crimes on the streets, the police arrest them, and they're released right away. It doesn't make any, there's no governing system in effect whatsoever. They call themselves conservative and they aren't anything at all. And this child here, this young boy, is saying, you don't want to be liberal. What? You don't want to prioritize your liberty, social equality? You don't want your government to take the rapists off the streets? No, they want a governing system that allows these things to go unnoticed, unhindered. It's the way they make their money. Liberals seem to have the mind that governments, if in existence, should do the work that they are hired to do and provide safety and security and well-being for the folks that voted for them to bring safety to the streets. But those who now let everything go to shit are now bringing in military to make it right. They go to one extreme from the other. And there's no temperance energy ever within the system that these men irresponsibly construct. The people are being forced into homelessness and starvation due to this lack of governance, this lack of care. And what does the government do? They discuss making it illegal to be homeless after they have raised the cost of housing so extremely that people are forced out. This isn't a governing system. It's a slave system. It's a free-for-all fraud. Free-for-all, but the actual citizenry relying on a fraudulent system to serve them. If they complain about it, they'll go to jail. If they miss their tax payment, they'll get thrown out of a house that they own, or they'll get it taken away from them. Some people want no rules. They want to steal, RAP, identity theft, and, replace people, drive their cars, live in their houses, spend their money to their heart's content. They love it when governing systems don't hold anyone accountable. It's a do as you will, I suppose, away from this community, because this mother figure that they are all complaining and trying to get her rejected somehow, they want to gang RIP her so bad. These vicious religious men, it's really sick. It's really sick. They accuse this woman of wanting to dominate them, when all she's doing is saying, you got to keep your sex trafficking out of here. You got to, and these, I don't know what she thinks about two-spirited people, but these men who prefer men as sexual partners, it sounds like some of them are getting rejected at the gate, and I feel that this is probably because they actually have a hatred inside and a competitive heart toward the actual woman. So there's this anger and there's this kind of nastiness inside of them, and they're not being permitted to have access to this space with the mothers that are trying to raise the children in a good way. And it appears that the Father or God does not want the children to be exposed to this kind of stuff. So, and as representative, this mother figure is receiving God's messaging and then bringing it into the world. And these religious men are furious because their God is not the rainbow covenant God. They feed on those who have the rainbow covenant. They sacrifice them and then feed on them, defile them, desecrate them. And they're in this territory pretending as though they are lovers of God, which is strange because they're rejecting the woman that he gave the covenant to and elevated into this position. She's trying to protect the souls of these families because she knows after surviving lifetimes and in this life, perhaps decades of this mental magic witchery, this insanity, this soul harvesting, this energy harvesting. I mean, a lot of you have been drained of your life force, and you've had people running insanity through your mind trying to get you institutionalized so that your psychic skills would come offline and you would not be seen as the upper dimensional star being that you are. You're a sensitive transmitter receiver, a communications device of the upper dimensional system. So we've got these sexual deviants who are upset that they can no longer harvest sexually off of innocent victims. Specifically in this territory, she's like, you will not come here and you will not be brutalizing these boys and you will not be brutalizing these girls. So as they were discussing this, spirit flashed before my eyes without sound the words, "Get ready." So it appears as though we are going to have some sort of chaos. Someone said the word impoverished, which is a person or area made intentionally poor, deprived of strength and vitality, forced into extreme poverty. That's what these conservatives have been doing to the earth angelics, those light-bodied people. They've been stealing the wealth, the energy of the working class man and woman and their families' future potentials. They've been stealing up to 40% of their hourly wage in taxes, giving this money to other countries for free, while the family suffers here. So the word Rosicrucian ran through my mind. Now, a Rosicrucian beliefs center on a mystical, esoteric philosophy aimed at spiritual transformation, understanding natural laws, and personal evolution through the study of hidden knowledge. The key tenets are reincarnation, pantheism, alchemy, and psychic developments, aiming for a universal reformation of mankind and a direct consciousness union with the divine. This is what Divine Feminine has. Divine Feminine has this. Divine Feminine is the Rosicrucian. Now, I don't know if in the world, if Rosicrucian, did they eliminate the women? I don't know. Rosicrucian. Women. So Rosicrucian has historically and contemporarily included women as active members, emphasizing the equality of men and women in studying natural and spiritual laws. So you may be a Rose. It could be that this magistrate, this lawmaker, this planetary stabilizer, and all of the other mothers out there that have significant roles in this new cycle could be the Rosicrucian. Let me see that. What does that say? I don't know how this works because I'm not religious and I don't follow any of these orders. I'm not part of any cliques. I'm not part of any orders. I'm not part of any occult things. I just have union with the Most High. And that family, divine, right, of these Upper Star Nation soul tribes, they are all divine and they all have special knowledge and skills, right? Direct conscious union with the divine. Rosicrucianism focuses on unlocking the inner potential through study, meditation, and rituals designed to stimulate psychic senses. It is described as a spiritual path, often utilizing symbols like the rose, which stands for soul, and the cross, which stands for body and life. It could be that the Rosicrucians, that the masculines and these feminine supporters of that, perhaps these ones have been the ones who have been sacrificing the roses on the cross. They've been sacrificing the body and life, the cross of the rose, the soul, to gain universal information to change and reformat the minds of mankind. So you've got a sect here that it seems to me has been tapping into the mental of the rose, the divine feminine, using her as a connector and a bridge into these upper dimensional spaces and places of these upper divine beings that they did not have access to without these sacrifices. This is who's doing it. I thought it was the Catholics at first, and I don't know if this Rosicrucian thing is part of the Catholic order. I don't know. But so it appears to me that the Rosicrucian order could very well be the order that is a religious order that is not necessarily a church. And they do their business with the roses. It could be that their secret is being exposed, why they chose to be called what they are called. The rose is the flower, and the crucian is the cross. The flower hung on the cross as a sacrifice. The flower who has direct source connection. A harvest of the rose and a study of her and his suffering and overcoming of the trials. So what are they doing? They're causing extreme suffering for sacrificed roses, and then they're studying them as they come up and out of this challenge. They gave you an extreme, impossible path, so they thought, but you overcame it, and now you got all these different religious groups that are all together here wanting to figure out how to remove you because, oh shit, their God is not your God, and you're the universal gatekeeper. And you have the authority to evict them from the universe. And so they need to get rid of you. They need to eliminate you because they want to continue SCX trafficking and feeding on the souls of these high vibrational beings from these upper dimensional star nation soul tribes. Universal. And this woman has survived and she knows what they do. And she's like, oh, Bafang freaking you. You cannot come into the territory. And they're like, oh, no. They've been prostituting people throughout the universe. And God does not want that to happen anymore. And this mother figure right here is like, oh, you shall not consume the soul of this child. You shall not sexually violate this child or their mother or their father or their pets. And these men are mad. And their supportive females are very mad too. Apparently there is a female in the territory who is hiding. She is not part of you, their divine feminine. She's spying, hoping for a chance to do a thing. It seems like the real powerhouses of the realm were and are those who were hidden away, given next to nothing. They were impoverished, homeless, probably planted in a home where people were very, very poor, very, very, in and out of jail, addictions, alcohol, whatever, brutalizations. So this is what they do. You get you make it to the end, like right where we are right now. You're here in your position, your status of authority, and these men are working very diligently to knock you down because you made it through the gate. They were arguing at the gate. They were trying to keep you there, but God was listening for hours. I even listened. 2 hours they argued back and forth about why they wouldn't let this woman in when she clearly had accomplished the requirements. They were still refusing her entry. So whoever that was outed himself and probably has to make a whole bunch of confessions or whatever. They strip the divine feminine, the rose, at the gate of the initiate rewards, and then they plant them on a replacement, and then they send them into these divine masculines to F up their world. While the rose actually is recycled for another life of suffering, because if she made it through the gate, if these ones were not successful at stopping the rose from getting back up into the dimensions, then they have to try again. This time, this magistrate was on an impossible path. All of these men and all of their feminine counterparts were doing black magic on the mental body and on the waters of this woman. She was cursed as a prisoner of war, but the curse has been broken and she has been emancipated, and these ones are trying desperately to get her back under their rule. They need her energy, they need her power, they need those gifts so that they can continue to dominate and brutalize others. They lost their secret weapon. These entities who have had all of the money, they have the power positions and access to technological weaponry. Those are not the masters. Those are not the ones who have true power or true gifts. They hijack the mind and the vessel, the temple housing spirit and soul of a rose and a trump card. Their sacrifices, and they use that soul as a connector and a bridge into the upper dimensional space, and they use that energy in the face to camouflage themselves as the identity, and they make war in these upper places. This magistrate is a magistrate because she knows these things, and she won't permit them to continue as God has requested. And these men who are so vicious and cruel, they need to get out of the universe, because they have been feeding in a most heinous, malicious, and vicious way upon the precious innocence and purity of children. These men have failed to be protectors and guardians. They have lost their job because they have desecrated everything. And they're furious, and they want to stop this magistrate before she comes up in the 3D space and is recognized and heard by the people here who are still sleeping. These ones who are now in positions of power, it seems maybe not all of them, but many of them, took the wealth and the gifts of the true powerhouses, the roses and the trump cards, the true divine sons and daughters of the Most High. And they've been using those gifts and those energies to fuel their magic, their baneful magic, and to curse people. They took the wealth of the earth angels and forced them into lack, into homelessness, and into instability. And then they laughed and joked, and they drove them into, some of them may have gotten into prostitution. They may have prostituted the energy, or and otherwise defiled and degraded. And then they broadcasted that sad story throughout the universe, saying, see, this earth angel isn't worth a shit. They got off on it. These demon lovers, these rosy boyfriends, these rosiers, R-O-S-I-E-R, Rosicrucianism, have been sacrificing roses and effing up the world, using the beautiful flower as their totem. They were hoping that they could actually overcome the angelics if they caused them enough desecration, if they defiled them and their lives sufficiently. And they've been at this for generations. They've been planting the earth angels into families that have been generationally cursed over and over again. Alas, even while pilfering the entirety of their wealth, they still were not able to overcome the powerhouses who were left with next to nothing, those who were messed with more than anyone, those who had been defiled in a bad way and their minds messed with. Someone said something about a goat. They could be talking about Moloch, who is the Canaanites' god, identified also as Baal. And it seems that there is a tribe out there who actually worships this being, who requires human sacrifice. The curator is talking to his community about Genesis. They need a regenesis, and they need the most potent life force that they can, source-connected life force that they can. They need to trap as many as possible. God said this is the end of their relationship with batteries, which would be souls, source-connected souls, and I just don't think that it's going to work out very well for them. Even if they were to unalive a temple housing a spirit and soul, I do not think they'll be able to harvest it. And God's not going to give them that power or that authority. So they do need to repopulate. They need to, so they've been cut off from source, from the womb, from the portal, which Star Nation soul tribes come through, because these ones AI augmented, and they decided to forfeit their, the system of death and birth and all that. So they're not able to come back through the womb. And they've lost access to the tribes of the upper dimensional spaces along with their wealth and their life force. The only way that they can gain that access is to trap it and then use the vessel as a connector and a bridge to get up in there and do stuff. Learn new information that they can program their AI system with, I suppose. They need an energy supply. They need source-connected individuals. They are stalking, looking to take souls to their timeline. So just be aware of your surroundings. I think most of this is happening in the unseen, but just as a reminder, they did send Hammerman to my house. So it could be that something will occur in the 3D. They're expecting some kind of a civil war. Donald Trump warned of it. And it seems to me that there's going to be a lot of chaos, you know. They're just going to stand down and let all of these the people that they purposely brought here for this reason to do it. While they're spinning a story, it was all very much orchestrated. So just keep your wits about you. They need the essence of the sun to fuel their AI augmented matrix. Someone is talking about a patron saint, which is a special intercessor and guardian. It's like they sacrificed their own patron saint. And now there's nobody to act as intercessor or guardian. They sacrificed their own patron saint. This magistrate was there as their intercessor, their guardian, their supply. And over these thousands of years, they forgot who the hell she was, and they've been sacrificing her over and freaking over again. And God said, you know what? F you fuckers. You're done. You're done. No more intercession for you. The curator is saying that he offered opportunity to somebody and to take out this magistrate, to take the place of. So someone else said that they liked her, that she is taking care of people, balancing the scales. But the curator is still trying to create a Judas out of those that like her, trying to convince them that it makes more sense to just eliminate her, this woman who has all the power that he once wielded while RAPing her and all of the other mothers. So he's out there trying to set people up, and it appears as though he's reporting the response that he's getting. So these men who are telling this curator that he likes this woman, that he's kind of siding with them, he's reporting the response that he's getting. You men are not safe around this person or whatever religious organization he's involved in. So please take caution. There's something about a royal dynasty, which is a sequence of rulers or a line of hereditary succession originating from the same family across generations. There are frauds in the royal house. They married into it, and then they sacrificed the spouse and took over the house, and it's been going on for centuries. These assholes are crumbling. Everything that they knew is crumbling. And they're like, what? My son's not going to be king. Yeah, no, your son was never going to be king. Not in the eyes of the Most High, because you're not of the royal lineage. It's just a fucking witchcraft. Make a cut in the finger and say a prayer to a fucking demon. God knows who's the true royal. Frauds are so sick. Jealousy is so sick. It's so sick. So now they're pissed off because this royal one, the daughter of the lion, has been elevated back into her universal gatekeeper position. And you've got all these frauds, all these royal frauds, and their sorcerer magicians, their little religious sacrifice. Murderers, reapers, soul consumers. The curator demands that he has the right to harvest this magistrate's soul, identity, and the authority that she has been given by God due to her royal status and lineage, because she uses one of his synthetic medicines. He thinks that he has the right to consume her soul and wear her identity and control her authorities, her God-granted status. This person who's not even a member of the family. He wants the value of her soul. He's been wearing it for thousands of years while he desecrated her. And he feels that he desecrated her so sufficiently over this time that he deserves to consume that soul. He conquered her. He's been bringing up devils and trading the souls of angels, sacrificed angels, for them. They've been desecrating them at the time of sacrifice, sending them down to Osiris, and Osiris sees them with all of that sin, and then what? They get punished. The source of this desecration that he has laid upon the world is in him. No way should he ever be given power and authority ever again. The malice, the viciousness, and the desecration is in him. It's what he is. And everything he's connected to is that. Anybody who's actually having a debate or a talk over what would be the thing to do is in agreement with that. These deceitful men have been unaliving their wives, serving them up to the devil, and replacing them with another lookalike, a copycat, an AI freaking robot. And then they pull off of her sacrificed soul value, her energy, while she's suffering in a lower vibrational state. And they live a high life of a successful man, while the devil gives him a percentage for that soul. They use the sacrificed soul as a bridge and a connector to the upper dimensional soul tribe. And they wander around up there with her replacement as though they actually belong there, boasting themselves worthy. That's the message, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.